50 boys to BMF Speedy. What up, Speedy? What's happening? What's happening, cuz? What's up with you, man? What's happening? What's happening? Market to Travel 99. No One Sweeter 22. What's going on with you? JR 809 LES. Thank you. Always being on point. Who's this? Mambub YH. You sent me a request to join Mambub YH. Did you do that on purpose? What's happening, Market to Travel 99? Did you do that on purpose? People be doing that by accident. XL Don Mega. What's happening? What's happening, family? What's up with you 50 boys to BMF Speedy? What's happening with you? If y'all not following 50 boys to BMF Speedy, man, y'all gotta follow the homie. Ain't shit Market to Travel, man. You just pushing, man. Just pushing, man. Y'all gotta let people know about we popping, son. You know, we on iHeartRadio. Shout out to our people over at Blazer 420 WPM on iHeartRadio, man. What up, Kodak Rax? What's happening with you? They go Ty right there. Jackie Uke. What's going on, Jack Uke? Let's get Ty up in here. You know, I got a place. You come to the city of Florida. Oh, okay, Speedy. Oh, you did, man, Bob? You say he said he shot me a while back in his studio in Harlem. Ah, damn, I don't remember that. That TikTok deal, JR. Yeah, I canceled mine. What up, Kwanzaa? I canceled my TikTok. I ended my TikTok. Kwanzaa Gerard, bless up. Let's get Ty up in here, man. Get this shit, you know, on the original. Where the hell? What's that? Oh, your students in Brooklyn. Oh, what's happening, little homie? What's going on? What's up? You trying to fuck with us? There you go, Ty. You trying to fuck with us? You want to pop on with us? Why is this thing not? I'm pressing the button. That's why y'all see the screen shaking. What's happening? It said view time with other person. See, it's malfunctioning. Add moderator. Okay, here we go. You trying to fuck with us, man, Bob? Trying to get on here with us? Yeah, man. Let you pop in for sure. For sure.
You just old.
For sure. What up?
What up?
Yeah, we got some shit. We got some shit.
Oh,
What's
what
happening,
up?
man? What up, though?
Mario, what's up? What's my plug?
What's happening, man? Just do it, man. Just doing what we do, man. You know, service to the people, bro. You know, gotta wake the walking dead, man. You
Yo,
know,
you know
like
what? You're doing a good
this is
job.
no time not to know what the fuck's going on around you, boy. Like, motherfuckers really don't understand how much the world is changing around them.
Nah, they don't. They don't. What's been crazy is like I watched your last two, and I was in it, and like as you know, when you were in my studio, like I only shoot people that I care about or like I want to hear something from, or that changed my mindscape. I remember I called you when I was in Houston, and I was like, "Yo, this lady just called me like a narcissist or something like that." And you were like, "Wait, what?" And she called me bipolar, and you were like, "Wait, are you happy?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, and then you were like, "Yo, are you sad?" You're like, "Aren't you bipolar?" Like you went
Right,
from north to south polarity, and I was
right.
like, "Yeah, facts." So a couple years later, I'm going through all of it, and I'm just sitting there like enjoying the fuck out of like the whole spectrum of how people are conditioned, right?
Yep.
So I remember I was in Africa shooting something 2013. I was sitting with a group of guys. Yeah, I think so. It was like 2013. And these group of guys, there were one was Indian and the other one was Iranian and then another guy was where did they do the genocide?
Palestinian? Palestinian?
Yeah, Albanian. So we're all sitting there, and I'm with my girlfriend, and then they were like, "Yo, you do know that we're about to make a deal with Iran, right? And it's like the Iran nuclear deal." And we're just talking, and so, well, and so I was like, "Why? Why would you say like we're about to make a deal with Iran?" And he was like, well, because Iran has creative centripetal energy, like free flowing energy, and we
Yep.
have to stop the free flowing energy. And it sounded so weird that I didn't really understand it. And he was like, "Oh, and we have to do like the BRICS Bank. Like BRICS Bank is coming up." And I was like, "What's BRICS?" I didn't know what BRICS was at the time. It was 2013. You get what I'm saying? Mind you, I'm just a young kid. I think at the time I was just turning 30. I had just left the restaurant I had built with my sister. We owned IHOPs. You know what I mean? And so
Uh-huh.
I was like, I don't want to do this. I want to go follow my dream and become a photographer. Hence, over time, that's how I even met you.
Right.
But I'm sharing this with you because of one of your last posts. And I literally was kind of like baffled by it because we're kind of like in like an open air prison, but it's just the knowledge of understanding to what depths all of it makes sense. And I had a cousin in Britain during the riots, and he told me it was like, yo, remember, all the buildings, like they burned down Louis Vuitton, they burned down, everything got burned down, like MS, everything got burned down. And he said, but there was one building that wasn't burned down. And I was like, what building was that? And they were rioting because of the death of a black boy, right? And it was the oldest bookstore in all of London that held some of the most distinct and worthwhile like knowledge. They didn't go into that bookstore. It's like that saying in the South: if you want to hide anything, put it in a fucking book. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I,
sometimes the
I,
book is even the person that's
I
standing next to you.
I definitely appreciate this engagement for sure, for sure. You said something at the onset of your beginning to speak about a depth of conversation that's not being had. If you listen to what I say from time to time, you'll hear me express frustration, disappointment, resentment for the fact that there is so much that I want to discuss that I recognize I can't discuss because there is, for one, the lack of an expanded lexicon person. A lot of these conversations, as much as I try to have them on that sixth grade reading level that they say 56% of the people in this country are on, a lot of
Third,
these things can't
third
be
grade.
had. Yes, they can't be had. The conversations can't be had. Most of the foundational Black Americans, and I say most confidently, have been severely and inadequately educated.
Sadly.
And this is one of the main reasons that we have such a big problem with violence and recidivism because most of us are operating on a juvenile level of understanding.
Yeah.
And we're distracted and our consciousness have become impenetrable. You can't get anything into the heads. If you can talk the way that you were speaking, that level of awareness for a couple of minutes, and motherfuckers' brains will start fluttering off like a moth, and it's a wild
Bro,
and
I
rapid
don't even talk to
fluttering kind of
people.
escaping kind of thing.
That's why I was
You
laughing
can't.
because I was like, a lot of the words that he just said, boy, he just lost a lot of people.
It's,
And people will say, yo, I want y'all to talk about, what's going on. It's like, what's going on is so deep that you don't have no depth of knowledge for somebody to even have the conversation. You want to know simplistic ideas like, how should we vote? Like, what should we do in our communities? Like, it's like,
we got to
you don't
start
really want to
somewhere.
address no. I get it, but it's like, if your idea of start is like at the base, but you
Well,
want to
that's where
speak
you
about
are.
I get it, but you want to speak about the depth. It's like you got to understand where you standing at before you start to
Yeah.
reach out and start to try to grab other
Reach up.
concepts.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
Like,
I,
bro,
I, I appreciate that there are melanated younger people who have some kind of way managed to circumvent this psychological trap that has been set, this matrix that has been set for us. Somehow they've managed to escape it And I know that it's a lonely place because I've been in it for a very, 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 very long time. I was thinking about my older cousin, Peaceful Journey to Laila Africa, Dr. Laila Africa. And if you know Dr. Sebi, then you should know Dr. Laila Africa, right? And how he passed away a few years ago, and before Dr. Sebi.
Mm.
And I thought about it just this evening. I was like, I think Laila checked out because he given up. I think that because aside from being one of the world's foremost holistic, melanated, holistic practitioners in the world, he shut Dr. Sebi down.
Yeah.
He was also a renowned psychologist and psychiatrist. He used to work with during Vietnam. He was in Vietnam and he worked with the vets and so forth, or the soldiers and so forth back then. So his depth of knowledge in terms of psychiatry and trauma it's immeasurable. Oh, that's what's up. This is
But
wonderful,
Pentagon.
by the
That's
way.
crazy. Okay, cool.
Wonderful.
Screenshot, hold it. All right, cool. Continue on. I'm so sorry I cut you off.
So I say that to say what I've been trying to strike a balance with is having a degree of conversation that can capture those who most need to be brought into the light of broader understanding. And then, I guess, gaining enough of their trust and imparting enough basic understanding that they're able to begin to come along in the conversation. You know, I introduce certain words over and over again, and if you listen, I will say a word that I believe is an uncommon word, and then I will give context, or I will say it in another way, and just keep it flowing in the conversation so it doesn't come across like I'm attempting to deliberately teach them something, because that is one of the things that has been ingrained in them, is to be resistant to learning. I think that the reason that works is I don't know who consciously says, I don't want to learn nothing, but although I have been seeing some stuff lately as some young people that they deliberately say, don't teach me nothing. I don't want to know. All I want to know, like one kid, all I want to know is, all I care about is hacks and switches. And I don't need to hear about 15 years. I don't want to go to school. I don't need to learn nothing. All I care about is hacks and switches. It's like this deliberate, vehement intent to be and stay as ignorant as possible on purpose. And I understand that they're young and they're clueless and they have no idea that it's literally suicide, and the worst kind of suicide. But it's like, I don't think that people really say, I don't want to learn, but there's something that's in them that the moment they're introduced to some concept or idea or information
Conditioning.
unfamiliar to them, they become, yeah, it's the dissonance. They feel like I'm being forced to face my inadequacy. I don't understand what you're saying, and it's making me feel self-conscious, and I only want to feel good and think well of myself, even though I have nothing of substance about me. Like, I don't want to be. It's not like I want to have substance. I just don't want to be made to know I have none. And of course, that is such seriously destructive indoctrination. And to have a culture built around it, which I call hip hop, is the culture built around it, to reinforce it, to validate it, to make
Yeah.
it.
Well, it's been morphed. It's been morphed into that culture built around
Well,
it.
yeah, because I mean, I was there at the beginning of it. Believe me, I know
Yeah,
it. So we
yeah.
didn't start out
You
that
already understand it. Like
way.
the point that we're at with hip hop, I can sleep almost to like most rap songs. It's just it's ridiculous when the fiends become the rappers and not the drug dealers anymore. You know, or like the hustlers. It's kind of weird. You know what I mean? And
Well,
you're watching
they
straight up
assimilated.
fiends like falling asleep on stages, and I'm so as a black man who knows some ancestral gene of mine helped make this and everything is being repackaged and resold to me.
Like
So
everything.
if
Psychology
you
is
think
the word.
about most of the things. You see, most people are conditioned, like a third grader. I remember when I was like doing stuff with the New York Times, right? It's called the Gray Lady. So I walked into the Gray Lady, and I'm seeing these bold text, these bold letters, but it's so bold that it's meant for my to inject in me some awe, like I'm in here.
That's right.
You know what I mean? But then I walked in the building and things started processing in my head. In my lifetime, I watched the Crime Bill. I watched 9/11. I watched Cover Up with Bill Clinton. I watched Afghanistan. I shot some of the war crimes that I now have like locked up in a vault. That I've seen I saw analog into digital. I've seen the rise of the internet to where you and I are on the other side of whatever world that we're in, and we're all talking in real time about real ideas. And I've seen people who were in sheds actually have a cell phone and can talk. I brought Boomerang into Nigeria. It's been nuts. Do you get what I'm saying? And the learning over those things where I never knew something that maybe my own family or people thought was dirt, but they don't realize the most valuable thing in the on the earth is dirt. And so if you work within the dirt, you will always learn how to plant, how to grow, how to live, how to survive, how to be everything that's needed. So like when you're talking, and like you said, you brought me back to like my original, is like us cultivating ideas, right? So it's hard for you to speak to someone who doesn't understand seed time, rain, and growth, and then also harvest. They don't understand like the four seasons.
Yeah.
So I mean I'm speaking, but
Basic
like
elements of creation, of manifestation.
they'll tell you like, oh, stripping is the oldest profession in the world. No, you're dead wrong. The oldest profession in the world is creation and agriculture. But agriculture is actually an analogy for how your mind works. Because if you're in your temple and God lives in your temple, then how do you not cultivate what is in your spine, your spirit? Just tell you, grow a spine. But what happens with your spine, your bones, your marrow? And within the bones and the marrow, it's even biblical. When God says, or whatever or that speaks, it says, cut through the bone and the marrow. It comes inside of that bone and the marrow is actually the heartbeat of life moving through water in the beginning. I know I'm probably speaking over, but like
No,
there's
my
so
wife says,
much that I wish I
uh,
could share with
meat
other
for
people.
men, milk for babies. Meat for men, milk for babies. You understand? So
Yeah.
we've given them what is for men. Now let's talk to the babies. I appreciate you joining us, my brother.
Appreciate you. I'm gonna go
And
on and make this room, and I'm gonna stay on.
I appreciate you. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. And it's a pleasure meeting you, my brother.
Let's
All
stay
right.
connected. All right.
Always.
Peace.
Peace.
So Ty, it's definitely a couple of things I want to get into. I told you when I'm on bumps, IG,
Yeah.
I see a completely different extreme of things. And what I have been seeing when I go on there, I guess because I just had them follow you, I see your post, some of your posts. Man, listen. Oh boy. Like that joint with them boys laid in the white bubble out Benz, two
Yeah.
black boys slumped in the car. Like
Hmm.
you firstly, you can't tell whether this is something that they're orchestrating or they're so attention starved and mad and crazy, just attention. Like, please pay attention to me. Do I need to set my body on fire? Like, pay attention to me. It's so sick. So I was like, is this real? Like, there was a sister at the beginning of the post who kind of casually walks by. It looks like they're in an apartment complex parking lot, and she casually walks by. And you see her kind of, do like this with her phone. She wants to get recording of this. Why you want to get recording of this traumatic scene is beyond me.
why you want to do that. But I guess you can post it and people will like your page, and you need to go sit your stupid ass down somewhere for
It's
real.
conversation.
Right.
Every,
But
every
then,
place she goes, she gonna be like, "Man, I seen it. It's on my page."
yeah, I see that, but that's a direct result of what the brother was just discussing with us. It's not,
Hmm.
you know, this emptiness, this vast emptiness, right? And then the guy walks past her. That's how we see her, and walks up on the scene, like walks up on the car. And until he gets up on the car, goes around on the driver's side, and then points into the car, you don't see what's happening. You just see the car. Then I see these two young black males slumped in the car. Now, I don't know whether this is, are they dead? Are they fucked up on some of them stupid fucking drugs that they be taking? Or what? But then I think you put a caption that said that they got slumped or something like that. So what was up with that, bro?
They got shot. Somebody said they hit the car up with a switch, and they was in the car.
Like this shit is crazy, bro. And you know, and I've had enough encounters. I don't know where it was. It could have been anywhere. But I got the sense that it was like Atlanta somewhere.
Yeah, it was Atlanta.
Right. And I've had encounters where, you know, well, I've had one, you know, from a couple of summers ago, I guess, on Collier and Peachtree at that gas station on the corner. And yeah, I was like, damn, bro, y'all about to be up out of here and you don't even know where you are. Like you're so fucked up and far out on whatever fucking pharmaceutical you're taking, you don't even know where you are, let alone where you're about to be sent. It's like sad. It's like, damn. It's like taking your dog that you know, you have had forever and you love, but I gotta put him to sleep. It's like that's like I don't know you, but I see you young, like 19-year-old black males, and you look like somebody's child who's taking care of them. They have no idea you're out here like this on this shit. They're never going to understand how you ended up in the morgue with your face burnt off and the back of your head open. They're never going to understand it based upon who they raised you to be. They're never going to understand it, you know. And it's really messed up, bro. But I see things like that, and it's difficult for me. And just imagine the life I've lived,
Hmm.
and it's difficult for me to empathize. It's difficult for me. I mean, I couldn't be any closer to those kind of circumstances than I am or have been. And imagine that if it's difficult for me as a black male from the hood, from the streets, to feel anything, because it's like, I know you dumb sons of bitches be doing shit that earns you getting your fucking brains blown out. So I go, what the fuck? That's not good. A situation has been created around us that has led to us becoming insensitive, beyond distrustful, insensitive to one another in the way that white narcissists, we don't say white supremacists anymore, we call it what it is. White narcissism views us. They've colonized our minds. It's the final frontier, if you didn't know. They've colonized our minds. They've given us white minds where we can't even see ourselves as valuable. We look at ourselves as oppositional and detrimental and threatening. And we have no qualm about dispatching one another. We are in a very, very, very bad place because everybody's our enemy and we are our enemy too. And the only thing I can think of that can possibly counter that condition is self-education. That's it. And I say self-education because you got motherfuckers like this 100-year-old creeper cracker bitch who is trying to further dismantle the educational system in a way that specifically disenfranchises those of us on the lower rung of the socioeconomic ladder. Now, I don't know how many people I just lost at that line. Those of us on the lower rung of the socioeconomic ladder. A line like that makes motherfuckers' brains go snap, crackle, pop. I don't understand. You should understand, motherfucker. You shouldn't be that fucking dumb. Those are not big words. It's not a crazy concept. We're not talking about quantum physics. You should be concerned about not being able to understand things like that. And God forbid you of somebody's parent. Because if you stupid, they're going to be retarded. And what can we possibly do with a bunch of retarded kids who are preoccupied with getting attention beyond the point of even caring if it costs them their life? We can't do nothing with them but dispatch them. Because if we don't, they'll fucking kill us all. This shit is serious. Let me stop to say, I commend you, my son, for the sons you're raising, for the socially adjusted, aspiring, upwardly mobile. I mean, even the baby. I was talking to him the other day. He said, yes, Grandpa, I'm on the honor roll now. And he's 7 years old. And you're 17-year-old with a full scholarship to GSU, a full academic scholarship. And he's, what, 8th in the state in track? He could have got a full ride on his athleticism alone, but as athletic as he is, as strong as he is, he's 10 times smarter. You did that. Their mothers and the family collective around them did that. Like, I commend you for that, because it's a weapon against everything that we've been talking about for the last 36 minutes. For real. If you're not filling your mind with something, then you're failing not only yourself, you're failing your family, you're failing your children, you're failing your community, and you're ultimately failing your country. And this is your country. Whitey just got here, just a few hundred years ago. You see all the tumult that they've created with their mass psychosis. Y'all have got to figure this the fuck out. It's not a game anymore. Playtime is fucking over. It's really ride or fucking die in the worst way. Okay? Now, that's out the way. The other thing that I guess kind of sort of related, I saw the kid you put me on to many, many years ago. Boonk.
Oh, man. Yeah, Boonk Gang.
Boonk Gang.
Yeah.
He's religious now.
Yeah.
So I just caught a clip of something. Didn't have a context.
He was talking to some young niggas like on like,
it's like
on
15.
it's like, yeah, 15,
But
17.
why was he holding a red balloon like the date show?
Because it was like it was by the same people that produced it, like the Pop the Balloon. I don't get the whole concept because I didn't watch the actual show, but I watched just that clip and I seen the interaction. And it was funny because he was the first viral person to have this, identity of a bunch of tattoos and just, the young black wild image. And the things that he was doing, Boonk Gang and taking stuff from the stores, it just created a whole wave of people doing this and being on this whole lot of gang shit and, just this whole destructive mindset. And for him to be where he's at now is quite hilarious. For him to be, a church zealot, which is a whole nother extreme, but hey,
Yep.
do what you got to do, man.
Yep. It could be, like we were talking about last week, just an angle that he recognized has a great deal of potential. It could be somebody who is coaching him, saying, look, you have following, you have a following, you have an influence. If you could create your own little church thing, you could blow the fuck up and get bread.
I
And
don't think he doing it for that, because
well, I would hope not.
he
I'm
been
just
on
saying.
that. Yeah, but I get it. It would be an amazing rebrand, because I already said I'll be when you see me in my pastor suit on the internet, do not say nothing. Just know I'm getting to this paper and these hoes in the
Mm,
Lord's
mm,
name.
mm, 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 mm.
Lay my
That
hands
that
on some bitches.
that is some foul shit. That's some foul shit, man. So the kids in that situation, the things that they were saying initially, and I don't know whether that was for the cameras or not, because they switched up pretty fast. One, it was like, man, we ain't trying to hear that. We ain't trying to hear that. And then he's like, oh, the energy, calm down with that energy. I'm not even on that. I'm not even on that type of stuff. You know what I mean? We could pray together about this and the other. And it seemed pretty contrived. And it was too far in the other direction too quickly without any like work. You know what I mean? It's like it just changed the channel. And all of a sudden, it was just a different program. It's like, okay, I don't know what's really going on here, but time will tell it. Now, this other thing, and this has to do with, again, the lack of connection within our community, within our collective, the lack of trust, the predatory, and it's just predatory, it's combative, it's this just infighting thing we got. You know, and this is as it relates to the sexes, to the different sexes, right? To, men and the two sexes that exist, the men and women, male and female sexes.
Hey, you sure it's only two?
I'm pretty fucking sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of that. I'm pretty sure. You know? And if you're not sure, I think you should probably seek some sort of psychological counseling. That's really where I'm at with it. So, firstly, I want to tap into this. Y'all are familiar with the cat Nick Fuentes, right? Nick Fuentes is a white boy who's supposed to be some right-wing, white nationalist, whatever, but he's just a troll. But this is what this guy is pushing. He's got a reasonable following. This is what he's pushing. So Fuentes identifies himself as an incel. I was introduced to that term by Al Prophet in about 2022 or so. Never heard of this. Incel. An online subculture, mainly among white men, surprise, surprise, who say they are unable to find a sexual partner. Earlier this month, America First's treasurer, I don't know who America First is. I guess it's more that white nationalist fuckery. America First's treasurer, Jaden McNeil, found a girlfriend, moved out of Fuentes' basement lair, and denounced the group as a cult. So he got his ass and was like, "Yeah, I'm out. I'm gone. I got my weenie wet. Yeah, fuck you. It's a cult. Fuck out of here." Right? So then Fuentes said that was proof that gay men were dating girls. The guy who was living in his basement. Quote, not only is that thinking that he is gay because he doesn't have a girlfriend flawed, but actually it's the reverse. Talking about thinking that the thinking that Fuentes is gay because he doesn't have a girl. He said it's flawed. And he said it's actually reversed. That actually makes me more heterosexual, the podcaster claimed. He doesn't have a girl. He doesn't have a girlfriend. Can't have a girl, can't have find a woman who wants to have sex with him. That, and I'm pretty sure it's one, your personality, and two, your micro penis, which your micro penis is probably the reason your personality is such. He goes on to say, if we're really being honest, never having a girlfriend, never having sex with a woman really makes you more heterosexual because honestly, dating women is gay. This is what this white boy with all of this following is saying and pushing to these other white boys. Men having sex with women is gay, and having sex with men is gay. And it's really all gay. Fuentes further claimed that, quote, the only really straight heterosexual position is to actually incel. What's gayer than being, I like cuddles, I need kisses? You hear the logic that this guy's pushing? Understand that the kind of people he's talking to, you know, the kind of people that he's talking to that are receiving that message, they are the Bovine dude that just got demoted at ICE, the Pete Hegseth, Stephen Millers, J.D. Vances, those types of individuals. Elon Musk, the one they keep telling y'all is the richest man in the world. Dr. Evil, you know, like $1 million. And people are so dumb that they just believe it because people whom they claim they don't trust told them that. Anyway, that's who they're talking to. You notice the people's names I say? These are white men in our society who are in some of the most powerful and influential positions. And that's who he's talking to. That they're him. He could end up being your president, your somebody in government. Him, because that's who these people who are now in the forefront of your government, that's who they are. You need to know that. You need to know what that means. Really. But because of where they are and their position in our society and the degree of influence that they have, the way that I don't want to use the word that, the way that moves through our society, proliferates our society, it moves beyond these little micro dick white boys. And it makes its way into the micro brained black boys and Hispanic boys and so forth, who have a lesser degree of rationale and reasoning and education, understanding, and it manifests itself in other behaviors like this. I want y'all to check this out.
"17 brutal truths about bitches. Number 1, they don't fall in love with a man, they fall in love with the way a man makes them feel. Number 2, they're only loyal to their feelings. Number 3, they are turned off by your struggles. Number 4, they don't lie, they tell temporary truths. Number 5, they never end relationships to be alone. Number 6, it is their instinct to emasculate the man they are with. It is their instinct to mold their man into a man they will want to cheat on. They can't form original opinions unless validated by people they trust. Number 9, they would rather be cheated on than be bored. Number 10, she'll only disrespect you for one of two reasons. Either you are less competent than her or she is threatened by your confidence. Number 11, feeling inferior turns her on. Most ghosting is done from shame. Number 13, she will break the law for the man she loves. Her emotions work opposite to your logic. Number 15, the better she understands you, the less she loves you. Number 16, you will never know her true body count. And number 17, every woman has at least one secret she will take to the grave.
So this nerd ass nigga dressed like a fucking box of Newports with his Temu hoodie on. Like, this is the result of the kind of thinking that the white boy then would fall in your minds in every way possible because they control all your programming. This type of shit right here. at this rate right here, listening to motherfuckers like this bitch made motherfucking pale motherfucker right here, this will lead to the complete dismantling and extinction of our fucking people. This mentality of we're at war as men, you're at war with women. He needed to go ahead and say, like, you're basically saying the same thing that the white boy's saying is, I'm a faggot and I want it to be okay with everybody else. Like, y'all should be faggots too. That's what you're saying. The fuck is you talking about? You bitch-made motherfucker. Like, you never, would you hate your mother kick you in the dick or something? She ran your daddy off? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I get what you're saying, but what if somebody, the experience in dating what niggas is going through, or the male experience, the perspective,
What do you think their experiences are based on, son?
your decisions.
Yeah. Your decisions, they come from what? Where do decisions result from? The decisions that one makes result from what?
Your choices.
And those choices are based upon what?
You.
Yeah, your process, how you think. How you think. And if you're unwilling to learn from your mistakes or missteps and want to constantly reinforce your bad choices by saying, it's not that my choice is bad and that every time I make this choice, I end up with the same bad result. It's that the world and reality itself won't acquiesce to my thinking, my processing that I think is correct. And I'm not learning by the consistency of the negative results I get is not correct. It's a pussy old boy there. I'm a pussy old, a fuck boy area. That's what it is right there, man. It's a fuck boy leading a fuck boy movement. Because it's easier to say, it's them, it's them, it's them, than to figure the fuck out what the fuck's going on with you. That's much easier, especially when you got a cheering section. It's less likely before the advent of social media and before like social media existed the way it does now. There were group chats. There were these phone groups. This is before, I mean, you might not have even been born. If you were like a baby. There were these groups that these motherfuckers would get on phones from different places, different people, different places. It's like Clubhouse, but it was like physical phones. And they would get on these things and they'd be from here and there and wherever, whatever, not in the same place and not the same city. And in their respective towns or cities, they had no contemporaries. They had nobody who was thinking like them or acting like them or believing like them. So they had to hide how they were really feeling about women or whatever and try to assimilate, try to figure out what everybody else was figuring out. Like they're figuring out how to fucking have a functioning, harmonious relationship with a female. Everybody around me is doing it. I got to figure out, I got to face the fact that it must be me. Until they were able to become a part of a collective of others like them, where they could wallow in their condition and excuse their condition and reinforce the condition, but not have to change. It's like, yeah, it's like that for you over there in Wisconsin. It's the same way with me over here in Idaho. How about you over there in Iowa? Yeah, how about you in Kentucky? Yeah, women are horrible. But like, they didn't have the mass access. You didn't have, social media, so they couldn't really spread that shit like that. And once you was off the phone, you was in reality, and everybody else was like, yeah, nigga, it's you. You a bitch made motherfucker, it's you.
I think that is true, but I think two things are true. Like, daytime TV has always gotten their shit off for men for the last 50 years. It's always been catered to women.
I mean, it's a cater. It's a cater. They went after the demographic that watched the most daytime television. You're talking about a time when women were still on the stay home and make home, be homemakers, and the husband went out to work. So she's in there in between doing this and doing that, or while doing this and doing that, she's watching soap operas, she's watching talk shows, you know. So they know who they're programming, who's available to them to sell stuff to. So that's that. Just because that's pronounced doesn't mean that that's what it is. But go ahead.
Like the kids or the males growing up in that space wouldn't have no voice or no place where they would grow and have anybody actually speak to their experience. There's never been a place to speak to the male experience. There's only been the expression of what women experience. And that's, you know, pushed out through mass media and it's reinforced in movies. So I think it's just a space of where men are finally being able to say their experience. And I know there's certain men that are just getting their shit off on women, but I still think it can still hold true to the male experience. Just from a poor person, a poor male to a rich male, they can all share the commonalities of these instances and just engaging in women in normal situations where women are just kind of disingenuous and don't really have no value for the man besides you appeasing all the things that she feel like a man is.
Well, if you have no sense of self, if your head is filled with nothing, then you're susceptible to everything. So any random idea that is propagated is subject to kick you like a random football or soccer ball in any direction. Like, oh, that's what it is, because you have nothing to stand on yourself. Today's male's susceptibility to these ideas that are being is their own fault for thinking that they could remain in this same patriarchal mindset of 100 years ago in a world that is progressing steadily in other directions. Like the fact that women, and Black women in particular, have been at the forefront of education for the last 40 years. They're progressing and moving forward and expanding their minds and coming into the realization of their infinite potential to manifest for themselves. They're evolving and growing. Men still want to grab women by the hair and drag them into the cave with their club and grunt and think this should work. You should be okay with this. It's what happened to our traditional roles. Evolution happened, motherfucker. That's what happened. I don't have and have never had any problem with fucking women. Ever. I know many. Let me think about that.
You've had problem with women.
What problems have I had with women? What problems have I had with women?
You just didn't have. It just wasn't a problem. Just
then if it wasn't a problem,
Karen,
if it wasn't a problem,
the things that Karen was doing.
That wasn't a problem to me.
Her issues with, you know, just you being around your child and how she treated that instance, and when you left your house for a whole year because she just was causing so much chaos, and it was just like, yo, I'd rather just remove myself from you.
Hey, perspective. I didn't leave my house for a year. I left my house for 30 days until she left for 30 days. The fuck would I look like leaving my house for a year?
It didn't seem like 30 days.
It was 30 days, bro. Are you crazy? 30 days. Maybe she sat outside with the moving truck with her stuff in it for like 5 days waiting. And I was like, what's she doing? Y'all looked at the window. So like, she's sitting in the U-Haul truck. I said, okay, well, let me know when it moves. And then I gave it another day to make sure that she wasn't just lurking on the Kroger parking lot behind us or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? But no, it was 30 days. And that wasn't a problem for me. You know why it wasn't a problem for me?
Why?
Because I was managing me. My response to her was based on, oh, you're conducting yourself in a manner that is not suitable for the man that I am. Your behavior is for the kind of man that can't be trusted or is a liar or a cheater. That's a you issue. That's not a me issue. See, that's one of the problems. One of the problems is that these guys today, they internalize these women's conditions. They don't understand. You're a witness to the behavior, homie. You ain't the cause of that, just like we've said so many times. If a nigga go around talking about, yeah, man, my girl be wilding, man, you know what I'm saying? I'll be fucking her brains out, man. I should never fucked her like that, nigga. Like, you're a stupid motherfucker. You really think she got like that because you cheated? Nigga, she's mentally disturbed, emotionally damaged. She came that way. If you had anything in your fucking head, you know that. No, but you want to stay the way you are, knowing nothing, and just try to mold the world and the reality around you to suit your empty fucking head. No, it don't work that way. No, I don't have and not had no problem with women.
But
just like I don't have
she
no
still
problem
had
with other human beings.
she still had impact because the things that she did to us when you wasn't there, that still played an effect. And it may not have been a problem to you, but it was a problem to us. How she treated us and how she talked to us and the things that she did to be spiteful to us because she couldn't do it to you.
Well, this is the first I'm hearing about some y'all niggas was up and down the highway, like going to Alabama and screwed up girls from that thing that was around before Facebook.
Nah, she was
MySpace. Y'all was like pulling girls on MySpace.
I was still going to work every day, and I still work right around the corner. So when we came in the house, and she turned the power off, and then she took the shower curtains, and then she took the soap, and then
the shower curtains when she moved out. Yo, you got all this stuff screwed up in your
No, she been did that. She was doing that before. She started moving stuff out, but the first thing she started doing was taking the stuff out of our room that she felt that she had put into the house. Like we came in the house and she took all the food out the refrigerator. We came in the house and she turned all the lights off, but still was staying in the house. And then I turned the lights back on.
I think that I kind of remember that. I think she took the food out the refrigerator because you guys would disappear for 3 and 4 days at a time.
That's not true at this point in time, though.
That's what I remember. This you would disappear 2 or 3 days at a time. You'd come in, you'd smoke up our weed, and then eat up the food and then disappear for 2 or 3 days. That's what I remember. So that she might have been.
We don't even eat the same food at that time. I was still buying my food, and I worked at the store.
You're eating just like she was eating. I was the only vegan around there.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I wasn't eating her food because I worked at the supermarket, so I was getting my own food. Like, so that was not true at all.
So I guess then why would her empty the refrigerator? Why would she empty the refrigerator? How would
she took all my food too?
If you're eating your own food.
She took all my food too. She took everything. I was out. I came home and she took all the food, and then she turned off the lights while we just sitting in the house. And then I would turn the power on, and then I turned the power off in her room. Like, yo, stop playing with us. And then she took the TV.
I gotta remember that.
So we went and had to turn the power on, and that's how I met the girl from Comcast on the phone.
I can't remember the power
she was doing mad, like, spiteful stuff that was just like,
okay,
like, I don't have nothing to do with this.
You look like that nigga. Y'all look like this nigga.
Yeah, I get it, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I left a girl around my child and she's doing stuff that's hindering, and now his image of women is like, this is what grown bitches will do to a nigga child? Like, so that goes into how he interacts and how he sees women.
That's true. That's still, you can't act as though that's the only influence on your development, though, because I was still teaching you. And she had only been around for a year. She was only around for a fucking year, bro.
She was around the first
time. One fucking year, bro.
When we did Don Diva, we was in New York, too.
No, I'm talking about she was living in the crib with us for 1 year.
Yeah.
talking to her when I would pass through Baltimore, whatever, and go kick it with her at her crib, my pass through, whatever. But in terms of her being an influence in our home where she could impact y'all's experience, that was just one fucking year, right?
We were
And
supposed to go to Six Flags, but she wanted to do something else, so we wound up not even going to Six Flags. It was a
we
lot of
did go to
things that
Six
was.
Flags. We got stuck in the traffic like a motherfucker. You remember that? We
We
got stuck
didn't
in
go to Six
traffic like a
Flags.
motherfucker.
We
We were
never
on the
went,
highway.
but we never went.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
We didn't make it because we was on the highway.
No.
We were stuck in
Yeah.
traffic for like, it had to be like, I don't know, 2 hours or some dumb shit like that. Some
We
crazy
never went.
shit. Something happened on the highway. So we never made it. We ended up not going.
Yep. Nope. We wound up
Hmm.
doing something with her friends.
I don't know how much I can really trust your response. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how much, because there've been times when you brought things up and I was like, yeah, that's not, I just didn't say that. I said that's not how that actually happened. But it's kind of like I could see how it could get mixed up through time and recall and whatever. But I've seen enough of that to know, you know what I mean? Yeah. But that's still not me having a problem with the condition of women or with women. Like, man, those women, man, these bitches, and I ain't never been like that. I've
Just
never
because
been, man, these bitches and man, these women and this species,
your
you know,
your lack of response to it, just because that's not who you are, doesn't change that those women was doing stuff that
they're people.
otherwise. I get it. They people, and I'm a person. I
Yeah.
could
Do
feel the
you
same way
realize
about a
that
lot
you
of the
had
things that.
impact on people, on women, that has made them think that men aren't trustworthy or men aren't whatever, like
I'm
men.
sure.
You
I'm
know what I mean?
sure, and
Because of their own limited perspective and experience,
I'm
right?
sure.
And you may have been a significant experience in terms of the male female dynamic for them. So they use you as like some type of litmus, like, you're the representation of what men are.
Yeah, I also grew up in the house with Tiffany, who teased me and tortured me.
Yeah. And I
So
know I didn't have no, I see, I don't know why y'all can say nothing about that, because I only got a clue about something when we had started Don Diva, right? And I said, I'm about to go and get the boys. And she was like, oh, you going to get the boys? I said, yeah. She said, tell them I apologize and I'm so sorry, whatever. And I was like, what you apologize? Man? Okay. Because at that point I was like, she's mad. Like I don't mean she's angry. I mean, she's mad as a hatter. And at that point I was very well aware that I'd, been with her for 7 years of a relationship and then been, friends with her for the years after that. Like, I understand the whole dynamic now. And I'm so well read and well versed. Thanks to her, I've introduced to all those behavioral science books and the psychology. Like, I was like, yeah, whatever happened to you, you're crazy as a fucking bedbug. So I don't really pay anything you say any attention. You know what I mean? So I was like, what is she talking about? And I think I asked her, I was like, Tiffany said to tell y'all that she apologized, whatever. What is she talking about? And I didn't know anything about it because I was ripping and running up and down the motherfucking highway, throwing bricks at the goddamn penitentiary so I could provide this lifestyle for myself and for my children. So I didn't know. I
I
had no
get it.
idea. Had I had any idea, y'all know I would have kicked her fucking ass out summarily with a steel-toe motherfucking boot. Who fucking with my kids? Who fucking with my motherfucking kids? But she was a kid. She shouldn't have been there. She's 19 fucking years old. She had no business being around someone else's fucking children. Not
That's all,
especially being in the condition that she was in.
and that's part of the point. What I'm saying, how she behaved and the things she did in your presence, you didn't even know.
Nope.
That's part of the point. Just because people present a certain aspect of themselves in front of you, don't mean that the other things that he's saying about the same type of person can actually exist and holds a lot of truth and merit.
No doubt, no doubt. But that still doesn't equate to what you said, that I had problems with women. I had a problem with women. You are who you are. I am who I am.
I
I
get
have a
it.
problem with you. I got no problem with you. What I'm talking about and what this guy is representative of and what the other guy, the white boy, is representative of is a motherfucker who has a general issue with the opposite sex. That's what I'm talking about. That is
it's
the
just
problem that we are dealing with. And it's getting fucking worse. It's getting worse. It really is. These motherfuckers don't know how to get along with women. They do not. A lot of them, I don't know. There's a plethora of fucking causalities for sure. It's the bitter mama who wasn't able to manipulate the daddy into being her boyfriend or her man by having the child. That old shit, that old trope. I'll have a baby and he'll stay with me. That's 1,000 years old. Brutal truths has never fucking worked. Has never worked. Being raised by a woman like that have a significant, and when I say might, I mean fucking absolutely will, have a significant impact on how a young male will develop in terms of his perception of women. Maybe not immediately, because he, as the child of this woman, will empathize with her, largely side with her, believe her, and then get older and then recognize that, one, because of her example, he has developed a proclivity towards attracting the type of, as it turns out, vindictive, manipulative, untrustworthy, sneaky woman that his mother was. And not realizing, because he loves her, not realizing who she was until he, the woman, unconsciously just like her and has the experiences from the other side and then goes, what the fuck? Like, you're horrible. And then realizes my mother was horrible. And then realizes my father was telling the fucking truth. He had to get the fuck away from her, just like I got to get the fuck away from you. And then never considers that he was developed in a circumstance that gave way to this process he has. And it's not that he now knows how the species of women, and we're all one species, I'm just using, I shouldn't even do it. I shouldn't even do that. How the gender is, female gender is a way. He thinks he's just discovered this. And I like, this is why I hesitated to say that not only have I never had a problem with women, I've never known like the men that I came up under who did, but in fact, I remember being around my uncle and all of the older guys in the family who were all married. And I've spoken about this before, the way they spoke about women. Oh, these bitches and this bitches, that bitches, these motherfucking bitches. And I used to be sitting going, like, I've never been one for calling women bitches. I've never been one for that, ever. And so I used to be like, why do y'all refer to your women like that, your wives like that? Why do you do that? Why do you do that? Why is that so fluent? What's up with that? Like, why do y'all hate women like that? And it sounds like you hate women to me. You definitely don't trust them. And this is before I was exposed to the degree of insight into the behavioral sciences and psychology and so forth. And I was like, something's wrong. Like, I will absolutely definitely not take any advice from you guys about relationships. Absolutely fucking not. Everyone, all of y'all, Kite, Dud, all of them, all married, all just denigrating women all the fucking time. And I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Y'all sound like y'all should be celibate because it don't make no sense. It makes no sense. And by the way, I don't think I mentioned that incel is an abbreviation for involuntarily celibate. That's what it means. Involuntarily being getting no ass. It's not their idea. It's just how it shit is working out for them. And there's a whole fucking society of them. And they're predominantly males.
They say kids in general, like teenagers and young adults in general, just having less sex.
Well, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. You shouldn't have sex if you do not understand the full scope of the potentials that can result from sex. And at 14 or, any adolescent, prepubescent, or barely post-pubescent stage, you don't understand. I had a cousin, I mentioned her before. She had sex first time at 16 and got pregnant and was just blown, just mind blown. Just couldn't understand how she just had sex one time and the first time she got pregnant. You should have been having sex because you obviously don't understand how sexual parts work, how the human body works, how biology works. Obviously, you shouldn't be fucking at all. You don't have the intellectual capacity for it. They shouldn't be having sex. Children shouldn't be having sex. If that's not fucking clear, they shouldn't be doing it. And they shouldn't be made to feel strange. If you grow up in an environment where the moral fiber and the moral foundation is so degraded or non-existent that you don't know that you have no respect for your own self, your respect for your own fucking body, you don't know that you shouldn't objectify your motherfucking self or sexualize your motherfucking self so that you can seem cool, then that's fucking unfortunate. But it shouldn't be. You should not be doing that at a child. You shouldn't. I don't think you should start having sex until your ass is 24 or so.
When 50-year-old,
24, 25.
when 60-year-old women is still posting that they got fat asses and young niggas want to fuck, the young girls is going to be overtly sexual too.
Yeah. It's sad, it's pathetic, it's fucked up. If a person is fucked up at 16 and doesn't get any help by the time they're 26, they still going to be fucked up. If they go on to be 40 and they still haven't realized that their processes are incorrect, then they're still going to be fucked up. So, I mean, if you don't learn any more than you've known, then you're going to be limited to what you've learned up until the time you stop fucking learning. Remember, I've said this before, like the current degree of information you're in possession of can only take you as far as it has taken you. If you desire to go any further, you must learn more. Otherwise, you will be where the fuck you at. I don't give a fuck how old you are. There's no particular condition or state in life or station in life that is attached to you or assigned to you once you reach a certain age. Okay, you're 50 now, so you're here. No, that don't work that way. If you don't advance the mind, you don't advance any other aspect of your being or existence or experience. Plain and simple. That's the kind of basic fucking concept that I think a great many motherfuckers are overlooking. And it's a problem. To the point where a thinking person, an intellectual person, really has to be very mindful about being around certain groups and certain spaces. For real. Because you're in danger around these motherfuckers. You're in danger, really in danger. As a thinking person, you're in danger around non-thinking people. And unfortunately, you have to be prepared to dispatch them because they have no wherewithal. They don't have a sufficient degree of intellectual function to make them not a danger to people that are around them. So you got to be, as an intellectual person, you have to be ready and able to remove their essence from their physical being. You must. But yeah, is it you got any other points or something that you want to introduce in response
Nah,
to?
you ain't gonna keep dismissing my feelings, so it's cool.
Oh, is that how you feel, son? That's not what I intended to do. It is not. It is not. No, hell no. You know that ain't the case. That's not the case. I did not intend to do that. Did not. I really didn't. You know that. You know, no way, man. I didn't intend to do that. Just trying to give some perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hope you guys are engaging with the comments that are being made, because some very, very poignant comments being made.
Man, the comment stopped loading for me. The last comment I seen is the brothers White Flame. I don't be seeing no comments. That's why I don't be able to respond.
Right. Yeah, I've been responding while, we've been engaging this in the text, whatever, so as to not have to edit out that kind of stuff when I put it up online or whatever. In an effort to end on a clear note, each and every one of us has to work on our own personal state. You got guys, and I know I showed this to my wife earlier, and she said, that there's a female version of this. And I said, oh, ain't no doubt about it. Probably a midget version and a gay version, a lesbian version. I'm sure. And what it comes down to is people, whatever their orientation, finding creative ways to not take personal responsibility and to find others who will encourage that. And you will always be able to find someone who will agree with you, but you must consider the quality of that individual before you prevail upon their support. Not everybody's support is of equal value. Just like not everybody's love is of equal value. If Trump says, I love you, that's not like a good, decent human being saying they love you. You have to consider the source and the quality of that individual. But as I was saying, each and every one of us, male or female, has to do the internal work and take responsibility for where we are psychologically, emotionally, and do the necessary work to move ourselves forward if we want to have a different experience than the one we're currently having as individuals. All the complaining and finger pointing and denigrating in the world is not going to make you more desirable or bring about more harmonious engagement and interaction. I don't imagine that this post has done anything for this guy's relational situation. Anything. I don't imagine it has made his options or choices better. I imagine that the exact type of women that he is referring to, because they exist, of course they do. The exact type of women that he's referring to are the exact type of women that are going to be drawn to him. Because obviously he's focused on them. They're going to be drawn to him. They're going to be drawn to him because they want to prove to him that they're not that. And that's exactly who they are, because any woman who is not that, he would be invisible to them. Literally, they wouldn't see him. Invisible to them. These people, these kinds of boys in men's suits, they're never going to be okay. They're never going to be all right as long as they refuse to take responsibility for their own condition. It's never going to be all right. But as long as they're this way, I would prefer that they be cut off from the access of procreating. And I know that sounds cold as fuck, but I'm coming from a pragmatic perspective. I'm coming from a practical place. I don't believe that there is anything of real value or use that a person like this could contribute to the overall condition of society. I do not.
Like crackheads having babies.
Yeah, exactly. All right, because being a drug addict is a state, it's a mind state. There are all sorts of poisonous, destructive fucking mind states. They don't all have to do with the chemicals that people ingest. A lot have to do with the chemicals that are already in people's heads, or the lack thereof. Chemically imbalanced motherfuckers. Like this guy probably is. Chemically imbalanced. So, that's my piece. What happened to your applause effects and all that kind of stuff? I feel like I need one of them.
My microphone it's like I remember I went and got my piece so I could have my mic, and then I got the piece for the mic, and then the cord that Kahoot, the aux thing that goes from the microphone. Now that's not working, so now I could listen to you and I could play the sound effects, but I got to get a new mic. It's
Okay.
like, well, I'm gonna get the new mic. I'm ordering it this week.
Well, I clap for my motherfucking self.
A round of applause.
But that's it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tapping into the We Poppin' Sun Show. I am your co-host, Kavario the Mind Plug.
And I'm comedian Ty Mills.
And you are watching the #1 father and son podcast in the world. Check us out on Blazing 420,
At iHeartRadio.
WPAM, and on YouTube at Kavario the Mind Plug, and
Comedian Ty Mills.
And we'll check you out, catch up with you on Thursday when we drop some more mind-bending perspective. Remember, I love you, son.
Love you too.
And for the rest of y'all, man, think critically so that you may live wonderfully. Peace.